Well, good evening. I'm Doc Rock. Welcome to Lead and Achieve with Doc Rock, and we're going to have a good time tonight. We got Lieutenant Colonel Micheal Sturdivant, and I probably got that wrong, but I'm close. I'm right there. And we're going to have a good time tonight talking about leadership, talking about the mumbles. Maybe you don't know who that is, who they are. I'm going to talk about that. And diversity, equity, inclusion. Just a lot of things we're going to be talking about tonight in order to make you better, make us better, so we can serve in our community in a better way. Micheal, Lieutenant Colonel, why don't you greet the people tonight?
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about diversity and inclusion, the Madison County Mambas, as well as a lot of other initiatives that we're going to be placing here in the community. So thank you so much.
Good. I'm going to read some of his bio. Mike and I met, I don't know, what, 8 months?
Yeah.
About 8 months ago. And I knew the first time I talked to him, I was like, this is a brother from another mother. Same dad. Now, we do have the same haircut. Don't be jealous. Okay, but we do. But I did know, I said, we have a lot in common. When you find somebody that has something in common with you that want to make a difference, then I call it a holy hookup. Yeah. You latch on. But Micheal Jerome Sturdivant comes from a small town in North Carolina, Marshville. I never heard of Marshville. Yeah. You know, I would just, work for IBM out there in Durham, and I was like, where's Marshville?
So it's 50 miles east of Charlotte.
Okay, 50 miles east of Charlotte.
That's as close as I can get you.
Gotcha. Well, my daughter will be working in Charlotte at a law firm.
Okay.
There, so anyway, it's close to your home.
Right.
As a third generation veteran, he knew two things from an early age. He wanted to serve his community and nation after graduating from George Washington Carver High School for Engineering and Science in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In the fall of 1983, he enrolled at Howard University, great HBCU. He joined the Reserve Officer Training Corps, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in psychology, and was commissioned as a second lieutenant as a field artillery officer in 1998. He also has a master's in public administration from the American Military University. He's been in the military for 23 years and has ascended to lieutenant colonel, and that's no small feat. Took some work for that to happen. He's been stationed in South Korea, Fort Steele, Oklahoma, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Travis Air Force Base, California Department of the Army Staff, Washington, D.C., United States Central Command in Tampa, Florida. Wow. Office of the Secretary of Defense, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. My friend was there in Leavenworth himself. And finally, the Space Missile Defense Command at Redstone Arsenal here in Alabama. Been deployed 3 times in the defense of our nation, and we thank you for that, brother. He said he wouldn't trade those experiences. The 3 years in combat zones, he's given one of the honest reflections of the essential times in his life. It's with family, friends, and community. He says the rank, awards, and duty stations are significant achievements, but not what drives him. And that's pretty powerful, man. And you are a humble guy. Yeah. I'm reading this, I'm like, hold on. He left some stuff out. Because I know he's doing some great things. Now, the military has allowed him to take responsibility for America's most prized possession, his sons and daughters. And we'll talk about that because he's big on family, and that's good. Collectively, we've gone to war and returned, he says, with even more determination to be the difference to affect change. As a member of the Madison County Mambas, we're going to talk about the Mambas, boy. We're going to see who they are, what they do. It represents the next and best opportunity to thrive in a community committed to diversity and inclusion, veteran transition, and engaged families that want the best for others. He said this: I could not do anything that I've done without the loving support of my best friend, confidant, and loving wife, Yvonne. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. You're smart to put that down. and our 4 children, Brandon, Grant, Lauren,
yes,
okay, Lauren, and Blake. Also, Onyx, their dog, completes the family. Now, is Onyx, is she or he black? Black?
She, shiny black.
Shiny black.
Lab. Yeah.
Yeah. I figured with a name like Onyx that they would have to be little dog. Yeah. So, once again, welcome to Lead and Achieve. And what we do is every other week, twice a month, We just invite people to come on. When we talk about leadership, we talk about growth, we talk about community, we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. We just talk about things that we need to talk about in order to push the needle. You know, a lot of people are talking, but this man is a person that get things done. We've had many meetings together. We've talked over, Zooms. We've talked over lunch. Pretty good lunch. And he's, as a matter of fact, allowed me to connect with some people that he knows that are doing great things around this country and around this world, and with Black Fathers Now, with Michael Dorsey. And, man, I thank you for that. Oh. But that tells me that you about getting things done. You're not about just for title. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, those who are watching, he didn't even give me the title of Lieutenant Colonel. It's not even on his bio. He didn't put it on there. I'm like, I know he's Lieutenant Colonel, but that shows you that he's not about titles. He's about getting things done. Right. Lieutenant Colonel, could you tell me something about Mumbles and tell me how you got here and to this great city of Huntsville?
So let me just start by how I came to Huntsville.
Sure.
About 8 months ago, I was stationed in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and I got a phone call. They said, hey, there's an opportunity in Redstone Arsenal. And by that time, I was tired of the Midwest. I mean, it was too cold. The weather is bipolar. One morning, it's snowing. By the lunchtime, it's melted. And then that afternoon, you can play golf. And so I interviewed and had the opportunity to come to the Space and Missile Defense Command. What it represented for me was that I had excelled from the lowest level of a platoon in field artillery to now out to space. Wow. And so just being able to contribute in those ways and coming into a new environment. Within 4 days of being here, I knew it was time for me to retire. But also that this community has so much life. But it still had opportunities that sometimes when you're new to the environment, the people that are there don't recognize how much it really has.
That's true.
And I saw that, oh man, every apple has a tree in it.
Right. That's right.
Every apple has a tree in it. So I said, hey, man, I can really do some things. Now I'm already doing some volunteer work. Wherever we go, I do volunteer work, and diversity and inclusion happened to be one of those elements that's really near and dear to my heart. Yeah. Being in the military during a time where we've gone through integration, we've gone through don't ask, don't tell, we've gone through. So we've gone through a diversity and inclusion segue, but now as we get down to the pandemic, the pandemic ain't racist.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's not.
And so having that opportunity, the first thing I did coming here was I attended the Juneteenth festival. Oh. The Juneteenth, it was a meet and greet festival at the Von Braun Center.
Okay.
And in that time span, God had been talking to me about, hey, you do a lot of stuff, but you're doing stuff. Your stuff ain't stuffing. That's what.
Stuff ain't stuffing.
My stuff ain't stuffing.
And I get that. Your stuff ain't stuffing. I like that.
You want traction,
right?
But the traction doesn't mean like you're moving. Yeah. I mean, I'm connecting and moving. Sure. But the traction was not happening to the degree that it was going to be impactful to where we could have an enterprise movement to where everything could kind of connect.
Gotcha.
Right? And so from that standpoint, I really wanted to be in the community. And I happened to meet a young lady by the name of April Hogan, April Richardson. And so I took a card, and she started coaching me as a business coach. Through that experience and that exchange, we started sharing ideas, and she shared with me about the Madison County Mambas. And this is a pro basketball of the Triple Threat Basketball League. And we're looking at 19 to 24-year-olds or 25-year-olds that honestly can professionally ball in basketball, but we also want to help them with an identity for who they can become to the community. And so with the Madison County Mambas, we looked at the vision of, under a diversity, equity, inclusion umbrella, we can help teach financial literacy, veteran transition, and family advocacy. And in those ways, we can involve the community to be able to not only just get messaging out, but when we start talking about what does it mean to not only play, but now show them who they can be to the community as ambassadors, it helps us connect with the corporations and sponsorships that are available.
So you telling me that you part of a basketball, shooting basketball. I shot basketball in high school.
Right.
But the team is about the community.
The community, all the way from the colors. I mean, the purple, right? The purple royalty. Right,
I like purple.
But in our community, even in the military community, it's joint. right? And when things are joint, it's not about an agenda. It's about how do we move forward to make sure that everybody gets what they need. Right?
Now, but the mamas are actually going to play games that people can pay and
Oh
watch
yeah,
them
yeah,
come
yeah,
play.
yeah. We need
but
Mamba
part of the
Nation.
whole organization
Yes.
is community inclusiveness, community awareness, and change.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
now when the basketball team, when are they going to start playing? Are they playing
May.
now?
It'll be May. It'll start in May. So right now we're in the building business phase, seeking sponsors, and really getting our imprint out in the community as far as what we're truly about.
Okay.
And so with that, we're looking at just different initiatives, junior achievement and teaching financial literacy, adopting schools, so that we can promote not only what the mom is about, but also some things that we definitely need in our community. One other effect is allowing high school students to get IT certifications before leaving high school. And so those are just some of a small tidbit of the...
So we're talking about a basketball team. Okay, a basketball team.
Yes,
I want to make sure
yes.
we get this.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Is involved in financial literacy.
Yes.
Involved in even getting like IT certifications,
Yes,
things
yes.
of this nature.
Yeah.
Okay, to better themselves.
Right.
The team is actually is involved in not necessarily people who play
Right,
basketball,
right.
but the administration and all.
Right. Well, the Mamba Nation is a movement. It's a movement. I mean, when we start,
Mamba Nation is a movement.
It's a movement, and our motto is we mambo together. We mambo together, baby.
We mambo together.
That's what we
I
do.
like that. I like that.
Because the thing about it is when you start to really understand what growth is, you can't grow alone, first of all.
Right.
Somebody has to feed you.
Absolutely.
And this community, not only, it doesn't just feed, right? It sponsors. Right.
Sponsors.
Right.
In Huntsville, and I'm from this area, been here for years, and went off with school and all that kind of stuff, and worked for IBM. I didn't research in the park, but came back. But just say I'm from here.
Right.
And this community is a very giving community.
Right.
I mean, we have we kind of pride ourselves that we give back. Most of the companies in Huntsville area, if you don't give back, it's kind of like, what are you doing?
Right.
And which is a good thing.
Right.
And have a basketball team to come to our, I guess it's semi-pro, whatever, pro basketball team to come to our area that just don't want to perform and entertain us, but actually want to get involved in the community, to see change, because that's something that's different, than what and I want to mumble with you too. I know I probably can't try to. I used to have a good jump shot, but and I used to get dunked, but that was a long time ago. I'm in my 50s, so I don't know. Now the young lady that started it, April. What is her April?
Yeah, April Richardson.
And I think that so a female started. Is this a male team or female?
So
what kind of team is it?
I heard this wise pastor talk to me about kingship and kingdoms and kings.
I wonder who told you that.
So it's not about the sexism of a thing, but it's really about the empowerment of who can underwrite the risk.
Wow.
She took her and her husband, not just her and her husband. So it's a family affair. Undertook a risk in a community in someone that can coach people on how to get better.
Yeah.
But now in just not getting better, now we're putting the emphasis on the community.
The community. So it's not about a gender thing.
No.
Wow.
No.
Well, is that not refreshing?
Oh man.
Yes, is that no, I'm serious. It's really refreshing.
Right.
Because everybody has a role.
Right.
I tell people, and sometimes when I'm teaching from a pastoral standpoint, I say, you a king.
Right.
Now Audrey may be my queen.
Right.
Okay, but she's God king. Okay, it's a positional thing.
Right.
And we all have the opportunity to be great. You and I have talked about leadership, many times, and purpose.
Right.
And obviously, the mamas have a purpose, and obviously you have a purpose.
Right.
Now, and we'll get back to mamas. Could you tell me some personal things about you when it comes to leadership, when it comes to who you are and what you believe? Because I remember first time sitting down eating with you, and I think we was at Connors,
right?
And I had a good time. And you mentioned about playing a game. Okay, and I want you to talk about that just a little bit,
right?
And let's just have a discourse on that.
Okay, cool. So I like chess.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't say that I win a lot, but I like chess, and so I had the opportunity to teach chess to students when we were stationed in Virginia. And in that experience, I learned that it's one thing to have them stand up so they can look at the board looking down. And it allowed them to understand, I would allow them to make their first 5 moves, and I would start asking why. And so the point of it all was, before they moved, I wanted them to understand that it's not about your move, right? If you're making moves as a choice, you haven't made a decision on what's going to happen next. So then the group grew to the point to where we had a collective group of kids. And now we had enough kids that they could be the chess pieces and they could walk the moves, right? And so we did it in 3 scenarios. The first scenario is them being individuals with their own thoughts and precepts. So you got a rook, your knight, your bishop, a queen, a king, and then you got 8 pawns.
Right.
But you also got to give them the narrative of who they are. As a pawn, you move because someone told you to move.
Listen to this, you
Right?
all. Listen, yeah, right.
You know, as a rook, you have horizontal movement that you can see ahead.
That's right.
And you can see to the side, but you never see the angles.
You never see the angles. That's right.
As the bishop, he can see the angle, but he's not looking forward.
That's right.
And they can move as far as he wants to move in that direction. The queen, she can move anywhere she wants, right? But her objective is to be under the counsel and guidance of the king, who has to position himself so that he can watch everything. So when you start to put that personality upon each of them, now they're just not students, they're not people, they have identity. And so when you teach them to say, okay, it's your turn. If you tell them, the beginning was no one knew when to move or why. They just knew that the white side moved first. Right? They understood the rules, but with only that one part of guidance, the white side moved first.
Wow.
Right? And so then you let them think for themselves, and it became a thing to where they had no purpose in moving.
Right.
So that took a long time. So after a while, I was bored with it.
Yeah.
So after a while, we said, okay, cool. Right? Now, we want someone to be in charge. We want you guys to plan together based on your strengths. The pawn still had an apathy about just being a pawn until they understood who they protected. Right?
They figured out their why.
Right, but their sacrifice was for the greater good, right? And so in that essence, you started to understand the whole essence of teamwork, and it wasn't actually killing them, it was a sacrifice. So you have to change the mnemonic of what they feel, and if I make this sacrifice, what's the greater good?
Yeah, right.
At the end, we started allowing them where we would have the coaches then come in and move them, and what then happened was you also allowed them to give feedback on where they were standing.
Wow.
So if a knight is standing in a position to where he can position 8 different blocks around him, he can protect 8 different blocks around him, he knows he needs a bishop to cover those other areas.
Yes, right.
So what we want to teach kids about is your decisions help negotiate your blind spots. But your mentorship, if you're able to be mentored, we can sponsor you to get to the win.
We get right.
Right?
So you can't have blind spots covered, and we want to sponsor you to get to the win, which is what we want.
That's what we want. We want in that aspect, I just wanted kids to understand that it's not about you doing your homework. It's you knowing that we're going to get through this grade because whatever you said you wanted to be when you grow up, you can become.
You know, and you know what I get out of that, even when you start, is that understanding your why. Why are you making the moves? And you know, it seemed to me that the Mambas and yourself, you understand your why. You know, the great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, if a person has a why, they can bear almost any how.
Oh, man.
You know, that's what Nietzsche said. You know, and that's true.
Right.
If you know your why, you can bear almost any how. I think sometimes in our community, sometimes within ourselves, we try to figure out the how. But the how, you know, as my friend Les Brown say, it's not your business right now.
Right.
It's not your business. You know, what is the why? What is that purpose behind what are you doing? And when I talk to you, I see a purpose-driven person.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I see and sound like to me that the Mambas is a purpose-driven organization.
It is. And it's the X's and Y's of wins and losses. That's one thing. But when you have an organization that's dedicated to the community, that is dedicated to providing services, as well as being able to really impact. Because this next generation needs to be impacted. We have kids out there that can't make change across the street, but they can play Minecraft. Now, you got a smart child that can play Minecraft, but he can't negotiate how he can get from home to wherever. Back in our day, we had to know what? We had to know a phone number.
phone numbers, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you don't know no phone
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah,
You know names now on your phone.
Yeah, now it's like you don't know a number unless
No.
you press it.
Yeah.
We had a new how to get from A to B using the metro or the bus system or anything
that's
like
right.
that. The navigation part of what this life has in technology is where everything is so stuck this far away. This is experience and connection now.
No, that's true. That's true. I remember, I'm from Alabama, of course, went to school, engineering school up in Flint, Michigan, and there was no, you could put it in maps, and they say, turn on 65 and go north, we had to get a physical map,
Right.
I don't know if any of you all know about maps. I mean, they things, they physical, they
Right,
paper,
right.
they got lines
Right.
on it, and you had to follow it.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I had to pull over and like, okay,
Right.
where am I going? And don't let it be a wreck. Oh my goodness,
Right.
you're taking back roads. And I'm not saying you have to have a map, but that trained our brain to make decisions and to see where we was going before we got there.
Right.
And that's important
Right.
because we have to see where we're going before we get there.
Right. The
Yeah.
blueprint. I mean, the blueprint doesn't change.
No.
The foundation has to be strong if you want to build anything. But just the same as any great house that's going to be built, right?
Right.
You want an equitable community that
Yeah.
can come about it,
Yeah.
right? And so the basketball or the entertainment or the skill set that's done in that, you have people that live in the fandom of watching their favorite team because they like how they move. It
Yeah.
stands for Green Bay Packers.
Right.
That community owns that team.
Yes, absolutely.
They own the team. That's
Yeah.
the only NFL team where they own part of the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Well, the onus of the Mambas is we take responsibility for the community that's watching us.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And in that responsibility, who wants an organization there just to come watch?
Watch, right.
Right? We want to be
So
a
you
part of the change.
you're accountable back to the community.
Accountable back to the community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes the growth and the innovation as well as those partnerships to be a part of something like this,
Yeah.
because then it shows that it's not just about go to work, come home, what you can do for me.
Yeah.
It's about what can we do for each other.
For each
and we
other.
can have a lot of great conversations about that, because if we're doing diversity and inclusion, then whether we're talking about microaggression, gender, age, race,
yeah.
we can have the conversation under the context that, guess what? You're going to be entertained with basketball as well. So basketball is the task, right? But the scope, agenda, and purpose is that we're educating and giving back to our community, that we can now have a community that is growing in financial literacy.
Yeah, and we need that, and as you know, I was vice chair of diversity and inclusion for the Huntsville Madison County Chamber last year. This year I'm over Reggie, on the board there. But when I first took that on, it was all after the George Floyd thing, and everybody, diversity, equity, inclusion is brought to the forefront, right? And I'm glad for you and for others. It's not just a tag. It's not just some to put on a piece of paper. It's something that we have to have, we need to have, especially in our area. Huntsville now is the largest city in the state of Alabama. Now, we're not the largest municipality for as other counties. Birmingham still owns that, but for as city limits, we have more people than any city in the state now. Right. And we have to, and people coming from all over, and it's a great place, don't get me wrong, it's a great place to live, but we need diversity, equity, inclusion. I tell people, equity, don't just give me a shoe. I wear 12s and then 13s and gym shoes.
Right.
I need a 12 or a 13.
Right.
If you give me 11, I may put on my foot and I may be able to wear it a little bit, but I won't be able to walk too long because it's going to hurt. And so we need that equity, please. We need to be able to have the same opportunities and help those that need help.
Right.
And we got to know that we need help. People need help.
Right.
And it's great for you and the mamas to be giving back.
Right.
Much is given, much is required. When I was in NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, we used to say each one reach one. And that stuck with me ever since that's 20-some years ago, because that is the motto, that we servant leaders that know our purpose. I tell people, I haven't heard you say one time about the money to be made with this team. I mean, I haven't just, that never came across. I don't feel it. Sure, it's a business, okay?
Right.
When we understand that.
Right.
But
your purpose is not that. That comes on the backside, right?
Right.
Your purpose is to educate, is to help, is to train, is to grow people to be the best they can be.
Right.
Yeah, and I like that. And I think that, and I think that's required, and that's what's needed in our world, in our country.
Well, in anything that you want to venture into, and being a part of the Mambas, you want to bring a call to action, and it's any environment that you're going to grow in. You have to understand that there are needs. As big as Huntsville is, it has a food desert.
Talk about this.
Right, it has a food desert.
Because we have talked about it.
When you look at Alabama A&M and Oakwood, that's a food desert. So, by definition, you make a circle 5 to 8 miles in radius, and there are no healthy food choices in that
no
area.
Healthy food choices. That don't mean there's food not there, but there's no healthy
food choices. And I want to utilize the school as an example because when you look at a freshman, you're going to send your child off to school. When you send the kid off to school, you want to make sure that, hey, there are food choices and there's a safe environment. So what makes a community? You need a bank, you need a hospital, you need food, transportation.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
So transportation cut off at Sparkman. The only food choice is the Walmart. There are no health facilities in that region, and there's no crime because there's nothing to steal. But you have a community with education, and it has all the facets of having the largest endowment in that region. But without that food source or having an equitable food source there, and it becomes a part of diversity and inclusion. Right?
You're right.
And so when they label it normal Alabama, it's now outside of the districting of where federal benefits and all of that. So what happens is you have a Whole Foods just on the other side. Not saying that it's purposely there, but Whole Foods, you can't buy one. It's 20 of the most best growers in the region that make a store there.
Yeah, right.
Right? And so we're not talking about gentrification where we want them to come in and move things out.
Yeah, right.
We want to be able to afford an opportunity where, even if it's under the Mambas or anything, but the vision is that we can provide health care, we can provide healthy food sources, and we can bring industry into those areas and be able to help grow Alabama into a diverse and inclusive arena. So then we don't have to have the spotlight on, well, what side do you live on? Right? Mambas is Madison County. Madison County Mambas.
Right. Not North Huntsville, not South Huntsville, not the city of Madison. Madison County.
Madison County.
So
with that, it's all the entire emphasis on how can we make it not only better, but when we want to have equity, we want to have we want to have a seat at the table that we can bring these issues up, and it's not a black-white issue. It's not a have-not issue. It is a issue that affects the people. It affects the people.
Yeah, and it does affect the people. And I think the misnomer sometimes is that it's not affecting me.
Right.
But if it's not, it may not be affecting you directly right now, but indirectly, it's affecting us. And they go. 20 years ago, I was trying to do something like this in Decatur, Alabama.
Okay.
And it was not a good food source there. It was not a whole lot of things wasn't there. And really, what stopped us was actually some of the people thought that we was going to make money. Yeah.
But let's talk about that.
So
money,
and
resources. Let's talk about resourcing, right? When there's a parable about the woman in the oil, right? And the parable is the woman, she was going to lose her house, and the prophet Elisha came along. He said, "Hey, well, what do you have?" She said, "I got some oil." He said, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you how to divide that oil.
That's right.
But while I'm gone, get the empty jars."
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so with these empty jars, because people were gonna throw them away, just give me your jars.
Yeah.
So when they came back, he showed how to divide the oil, and guess what? She sold that oil.
She sure did.
Right? Because now it's a resource that they need, and it's packaged the way they need it. Right? When we start talking about resources, even if we talk about money, I think that the fail-safe is people wanting access, but they don't realize that you got the empty jars. Allow us to give you the oil.
Right. Exactly.
If I can give you oil, we can get oil.
Yeah, right. You have the tools.
You have all the tools. It's already in you.
Right. Exactly.
And so the thing about it is that not once did I ever mention that Miss April Hogan Richardson is a black woman.
She's a black woman.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Pretty good right there.
Yeah, but powerful in how her and her husband John have the foresight to put this vision,
Yeah.
right, and allow it to not just be theirs,
Right.
Because as business people, they have access to whatever they want.
Yeah.
They could have done it for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But to bring it out to the community,
Yeah.
and now you have a diverse board, and a board that is focused on bringing not only sponsorship, but partnership.
Partnership.
We're also looking at, adopting schools. When you adopt schools, you adopt families.
So
you
when you say
families-
adopt a school, what do you mean by that?
So let's see, we want to be able to adopt schools where we can bring in those financial literacy programs
Gotcha.
in.
Okay.
We want to be able to bring in doing assessments that
Yep.
within the diversity inclusion
Okay.
arena.
Gotcha.
We want to be able to also look at doing field trips to show them like, hey, this is your Alabama.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You'll be surprised how many people don't know exactly what's in Alabama.
That's true.
Alabama has 4.8 million people. Metro Atlanta has 5.8 million.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
when you look
yeah.
at Alabama has its own oil, has its own iron ore.
It does.
It's not Pittsburgh. And
No.
It has every natural resource possible.
That's true.
But the
That's true.
connotation gets stuck on the history.
History, yeah.
Till now that we have organization and people wanting to move forward, right? We want to do it together.
Yeah.
And so that's what that's what I love about your platform is being able to highlight the power of what it takes to be involved, but also have the initiative and not be afraid.
Yeah, I mean, and you just look at it here in Huntsville. I mean, we put man on the moon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this area
Right.
put man on the moon. And I tell people when Warner Von Braun was here and starting all that. I mean, he went to Southern University.
Right.
And hired Black African American engineers from
Right.
Southern there to come to Huntsville
Right.
and integrated NASA him.
Right.
So this whole area has a foundation
Right.
of diversity, equity, and inclusion that we can build upon if we're serious about going back to the moon.
If we and that's just a start.
Yeah, it's just
that's
a start,
just a start.
right?
That's just a start.
And not just going back to the moon from a literally, but figuratively going back to the moon. And that it's a moonshot about us doing the best we can, us taking people who may have been on the outside
Right.
of life chances or life growth and say, hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity.
Right.
We're going to help you. Maybe your parent did not have the education or did not have the background in order to get you to where you want to be. But here's an organization, here's the Mambas, and we want to come in and we want to partner with you. We want to help you. We want to be a part of your growth.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's what's important.
Yeah.
We want to be a part of your growth. We're
Right.
going to grow together. We're going
Right.
to mama together.
Hey, we mama together.
We're going to mama together. I like
It's
that.
a vessel. It's just being a vessel,
Yeah.
because the thing about it is when you look at the mamba and you think about what the mamba is,
Yeah.
it's really the intentionality.
Yeah.
It's so intentional about what it wants to do for the community. But we can't do it without your help.
Yeah.
We can't do it without your support. And so from that, it's really about being able to position and allow us an opportunity to show you the value of what we bring to the table, right?
Right.
I mean, because as simple as it is, we baseball is America's sport,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's America's sport.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a sport for everybody.
True.
Right?
Right.
And so when you have an opportunity to showcase athletes that also have a testimony, right? It's not just the athlete, but the athlete with the testimony.
So, a Mamba player, we know that athletically they have a gift.
Right.
But is this person a person that didn't make it to in NBA or didn't? I mean, what type player is this?
So
is
we're
a
looking
Mamba
for
player?
players that are talented, athletic, but more than anything, they have the character and assurance to understand what it is to be a part of a team. Not only is it being a part of a team, but also understanding that they represent what it means to be a part of a community. And in that, from everything down, there's an interview process, there's a contract,
Yep.
we're going to roll out the red carpet, and they're even going to have their own NFTs.
Oh,
Right, that's the new thing. That's the new card. Before we had trading cards,
Yeah, right.
because their image is important.
yeah.
Their image is important. Their
That's
image is
true.
important. I have a T-shirt company, and it's amazing. My daughter, she draws, and she not only draws, she's an artist.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm trying to teach my kids is like why why buy somebody else's when you can have your own? Right? You know, my son is a writer, right? So we made him his own sports magazine, right? When you allow people, not only allow, but when you invite them into something, but you give them the fair share of their worth, and then they see their value. And their value translates into how hard are they going to play to show that, hey, you deserve to have my card.
Right.
You deserve to buy into me. Right?
Right.
And it comes from the community buying in as well.
Right.
And so it's an overall effort to be able to be a part of something that's great. And all I can tell you is hey, the mamas are coming. The mamas are coming.
Y'all heard the mamas are coming.
Mamas are coming.
They are coming. You're going to see them, but not only on the court you're going to see them, but you're going to see them in the community.
In the community as well.
And we need people who have a passionate heart. I always talk about, when I say why, I talk about purpose. I want to read you a definition I use all the time. I stole it from Dr. Miles Monroe.
Okay.
Who was the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe, right? Yes. And Miles said this. Miles said, purpose is the master of motivation and the mother of commitment. It is the source of enthusiasm and the womb of perseverance. Purpose gives birth to hope and instills the passion to act. Now, I love what Miles said, purpose is the master of motivation and the mother of commitment. Yes. Because it's going to take some motivation and some commitment to do what you don't want to do. I know Miss April and her husband and all, because, you got to show people what it is. You got to be some energy behind it. But when you got purpose, I tell people, when you got purpose, it gets you up when everybody else is hitting the snooze button.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And I tell you, just the faith, and I use that word, I use it very, very seriously. You know, my faith doesn't have an if in it, right? The mamas don't have an if we're going to be successful. It's not if we're going to be in the community. It's the faith and also the perseverance to understand that what you see on the court, it ain't nothing compared to what you're going to see in the community.
Yeah.
You know, it's
just a seed.
That's a seed. It's a seed. And guess what?
Yeah.
The seed, it's got to be buried to grow.
It does. It has to
right?
be. Yeah, got to put some dirt on it. It got to be buried.
Right.
And I always tell people the harvest is always greater than the seed.
Yeah.
You know, people say, oh man, I want to sow the seed. Oh, sow the seed.
Sow the seed.
Put the seed in the ground. The harvest is always greater than the seed.
Yes.
You know, and I think we need to become that seed. You know, you heard me teach the power of potential.
Yes.
You know, inside every apple is an apple tree. Inside every apple, hear me, is an apple tree.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
But most people don't see the tree. They see the seed.
Right.
They see the seed, but because it takes work for the tree to grow.
It does. And I tell you, it's not as though that we have all this energy and enthusiasm that doesn't come with an amount of risk, right? But you get over risk every time you wake up.
Yeah,
there's a risk you won't wake up.
Oh
There's a risk that you know on the way here, every accident moved out the way so we can get here.
Right.
And so the thing is God's going to do His part.
That's right.
We have to be steadfast and faithful in our part.
You know what James, in the book of James said, faith without works is dead.
Yes.
You know, I'll show you my faith by my works.
Yes.
I tell people, you don't get what you, Lieutenant Colonel, you don't get what you want in life.
Right.
You get what you expect in life.
Yes.
I was telling a young man this morning, we was getting ready, when we hire a salary person at Ability Plus, me as a CEO, I always want to talk to them, and I don't interview them. Matter of fact, I never even have their resume in front of me because they've already done that. I just want to get their personality, their personality and what they're about. Right. This morning, God led me just to kind of do a leadership teaching with them. And I told them, I said, people don't get in life what they want; they get in life what they expect. Want shows up in conversation. Yes. Expectation shows up in behavior.
Oh yes. Yes.
You see?
Yes.
And what you just said about this, mamas don't have an if. You have a faith. It shows up in you expecting it.
Yes.
So your behavior, what you're doing every day. And I want to tell those who are watching, it's not what you want. It's what you expect. If you expect something great, then your behavior will reflect that. What you do on an everyday basis.
Yes.
Successful people do every day, what unsuccessful people do every once in a while.
Oh yeah. That consistency.
It is.
And I tell you, it's like you can put your past behind you with a blink of an eye. Literally with a blink of an eye. And so it's really not about when you get started. It's about getting started, and it's about staying steadfast and true And leadership itself is being able to put yourself in the same position they're in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And allowing them to understand and see your vulnerability.
Yeah.
But also being able to take that risk and say, guess what? We're going to do this together.
Yeah, because it is a risk. And there's nothing you're going to get in life that's not going to cost you something.
Right.
And it has to be a cost. If it's free, you will not value it.
Right.
You know, I heard Dr. Higgins say this years ago. He said, you don't need ending faith to get started.
Right.
You need starting faith.
Right.
Right. And you need starting faith.
Right.
And so just go ahead and take that small step. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and do the things you need to do. Go ahead and work it like you are. I know you and I was talking about even from a DE&I standpoint of companies doing a DEI report or assessment that we can give them and say, hey, are you doing this effective? You know, how is this working for you? Because it's proven that when you have a diverse workforce, it's proven that you do better.
Oh yeah. They want to come there.
Yeah,
they want to come there.
That's a proven thing.
They want to come there. And I tell you, it's the one thing that I've really learned, even being in the Army, is that people either your naysayers want to pull you down to the level so you slow down. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And those that want you with them, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to tell you.
They don't do it.
You don't have to sit back and wonder if you're at the table, around the table, you're in conversations that aren't privy to everyone else. And so what I say, there's no such thing as secrets. They're just things that you're privy to, that you have to understand and how to grow and understand relationships. So when we look at relationships, I look at the allegiance, I look at the alliance, I look at the sponsorship, partnership, then we look at the friendship. Because in all of those things, you have my trust.
Trust, right.
Right? You have my trust. You have my undeniable trust.
Yeah.
If someone comes to me and says, Doc Rock sent me, I say, okay, all right. Because I know what Doc Rock stands for.
Yeah, right.
But I have to hold them on their merit of what they do.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I hold them on their merit of what they do.
Right. That's absolutely.
And so a lot of times it comes through where people will judge you based around who they think you're aligned to.
That's right.
Right?
Oh,
And
absolutely. That's so true.
And you have to be really conscious of what type of relationships and what kind of things you want to be associated with. I knew I wanted to be associated with the Mambas because the vision, the care, the faith, the family, and the Hogans are a phenomenal family.
And that means something, and I think it's. I was looking at, it's Black History Month, so I've been doing some research and teaching and things of that nature, and I did a research on poverty, and it ain't no big deal. I mean, you just go and look at it.
Right.
But blacks who are married, okay, the poverty rate of most blacks is 19%. Of most whites is 8%. For blacks, married blacks, is 7.2%. Now, I'm not coming against anybody who's not married. I mean, all I'm saying is that when we build that family nucleus, it helps us in so many ways.
Right.
And having a concentration on family and believing in family is very important because it helps.
Well, I'm gonna go a step deeper.
Sure.
It's really about breaking generational curses.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so this will be the first generation of Mambas. What do you think we're gonna have when we get to the fourth generation?
Oh my goodness!
Right,
yeah. Right. No, you're right.
Because we're talking about camps.
Yeah.
We're talking about enrichment. We're talking about STEM. Wow. We're talking about you put your finger on it. Add Mambas to it.
Add Mambas to it. Well, I tell you what, y'all, you need my help. I'm there.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much
for the community. I'm serious.
For the community.
Because it's important.
Yes.
It's very important. I've traveled around the world, and you know this. I've spoken. Project Board, born to a 15-year-old. I've spoken in 31 different countries. And I don't say to brag. I'm saying that because I had purpose. Right. When I was 7 years old, I said, no, I'm not going to be what I see around me. Right. We owe it to people to give that back. Right. We really do. Right. You really do. You blessed to be a blessing. Yes. I tell people, the peace ain't blessed for the peace. The peace is blessed for the pie.
And one thing I learned, we had an opportunity to go to a homegoing yesterday, my grandmother's homegoing. And the one thing that she really gave us her entire life. It's one thing to have the sorrow of what a funeral does, and they're no longer here with us. But when you share the essence, someone sharing their entire life and their wisdom with you, they leave you with things you can never give back.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the influence of what you brought about in this community is something that they can never give back. People in all 31 of those countries, they remember Doc Rock. And it's something so simple because guess what? You're going to meet him at the top. It means it wasn't that you didn't want him to get to the top.
No.
So I'll meet you at the top.
I'll meet you there.
If you won't help, if you won't help, I'll come with you.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But and that's where we got to get out of. A lot of times the naysayers say, well, right, but we really want, as much as you believe in the community, we want those same type of athletes, because guess what's going to motivate the athletes? The community.
The community. That's right.
Right?
No, I love the model.
Yeah.
I love the model. I think it's good. It's holistic.
Yes.
And that's what's important. It's not just some single vein you're going through. It's holistic and it's helping. We about almost out of time. Goodness, we've been. Anything you want to say about the Mamas, yourself, or whatever, before we have to leave this conversation? So I'm sure we're gonna have another one.
Yeah.
And next time, maybe we'll give Miss April on.
April and John got to be there. They got to be there. Yeah. So for me, the community is nothing without love, and the essence of love is being gentle and being kind. Right. It tells you everything else after that. More than anything, that I could not be a part of this community if I was not committed to giving, and giving. Yeah. All right. And just thank you for whatever that allows the mamas to be blessed with. You're welcome to bless the mamas. Yes. And we mamba together.
Yeah, we mumble together, and we're gonna get their information and put it on our website and all, so you can go to their website or have the information to contact them. And it's gonna be good. I can't wait to see you in the community and doing the great things that you're gonna do. Because I know ain't no give up in you, brother.
Oh, no.
I've talked to you. There's no give up in you at all. And that's what's important. So those who are watching, hey, I think coming up in 2 weeks, we're gonna have Beth Richardson, who's doing great things in our community. My goodness, with us. But we thank you for tuning in and. Send this, share it, send it to a bunch of more people, because it's about the community. It's about what we're doing. It's about giving back, okay? Don't be a Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is dead because the lower Jordan flows into the Dead Sea, but nothing flows out of it, so it's dead. So we have a lot of things flowing into it. That means that you got to give things back and give them back out. So that's the deal. Y'all know, no bad days, bad minute, bad hour, but never a bad day, okay? Get our book, Gratitude, is on Amazon. My goodness, let's get our mind right. And then in August, our No Bad Days book will be out.
Okay.
It'll be out. So here's the deal. It's Super Sunday. It's Marvelous Monday. It's Terrific Tuesday. It's Wonderful Wednesday. It's Triumphant Thursday. It's Fantastic Friday. And it's Successful Saturday. I'm Doc Rock. This is Lieutenant Colonel Sturdivant. You join us at the top. We'll see you later.